Hello, friends, and welcome to the dynamic lighting showcase, updated dynamic lighting showcase, as it says in the bottom, whatever direction I'm pointing corner. You can see that I am here with my dear friends, Katie and Corey, to learn what I can about the new updated dynamic lighting stuff. I don't have a further intro. That's it. So
I think that's all that was legally required.
Yeah,
of
I
you.
mean, take it away, team.
Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're here to talk about dynamic lighting today. Specifically updated dynamic lighting. Did you know that exists, chat? That there's a difference between legacy and updated dynamic lighting? If you didn't, now you do.
I know that there are two separate tabs for them.
That's true.
That's what I know about it.
But Corey, if I, a random human being, did not know what dynamic lighting was, how would you explain it?
I guess the best way to say dynamic lighting is a way to just add an extra level of oomph to a normal dungeon setup. It gives you the ability to give each of your tokens, vision and light, allow them to navigate and traverse through through a dungeon or a level that you create without. It's one of those things that you really can't do easily at home with a traditional tabletop setup. But because technology, we're able to do this online and make it so that you can have that experience with your friends.
Yeah, I mean, from what I know of it, and I've played many a Roll20 game, it's mostly about obscuring line of sight based on walls and blockages and, how far a character can see or how close and that kind of stuff, right? Am I on the money?
That is spot on. That
Wonderful.
is spot
Good.
on.
I want to make sure I didn't have a wholly different understanding of what we were doing.
Yeah, so that's it. And you can tell that Corey is the graphic developer because Corey said it incredibly well. So Corey, hi, you're the graphic developer for dynamic lighting. So first off, congratulations, because I certainly couldn't do that.
Me neither.
I will say I'm not the only graphics developer. We definitely have another graphics developer who's not on stream today. Yeah,
in our hearts, in our hearts,
in our hearts.
We did have another window for them, but we filled it with just a image of an updated dynamic lighting showcase,
which is also where I'm putting all of my hopes and dreams until the end of this stream. So if it encounters any harm at any point, all of my hopes and dreams are shattered. So
noted.
Really high stakes as we learn about dynamic lighting in this stream.
You saying that just makes me, as a GM, want to break it. So
okay.
Don't
You're one of those GMs. I understand. We're beginning to understand each other's GM languages. Well, hopefully some stuff Corey and I have made. Corey and I did a hashtag collabo to make some pretty cool dynamic lighting maps for us to sort of take a look at and talk through the features of dynamic lighting and how to use it in your games and some of my pro tips that I don't give out for free, baby. So we're gonna
except for right now.
Except for right now. Except for right now. So this is the last time you're gonna get these hot pro GM tips from me, chat. So never again. It's a good thing you're here. So yeah, you're in our game right now. Are you in our game as a GM or as a player?
I believe I am in it as a player currently.
All right, why don't you go ahead and refresh to get in there as a GM so we can give you the grand overview.
I am on it.
Corey, I truly didn't provide names to the two characters we're going to be using today. And I turn to you in my most dire hour of need. Would you like to name these two characters?
I will say that now I see the entire map devoid of
dynamic
lighting.
Well, we're the DMs. We never get to have any of the fun.
No, it's true, yeah.
The surprises are never for us, unfortunately. That's the worst part of being a DM is we are the setter of surprises.
Oh, but then you get to see their faces when the surprise hits, right?
Right. And so we're that team today. We're here how to make that magic for your players. So welcome to our underwater temple map that we're going to be taking a look at as our first one. So we have updated dynamic lighting completely set up on this map, and we can go through some of the features of it. And Corey, interrupt me at any point in time if you have something insightful to say, because I'm just gonna talk.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna listen and make noises like this. Wow. Yeah.
Well, you can ask me questions and we'll walk through it.
Obviously.
If you talk, I'll go. No, we're just gonna walk through it. So, just to sort of start as a base for anyone who doesn't know, if you want to go ahead and trigger, if you want to go to the actual dynamic lighting layer, we can talk a bit about the drawn lines.
We are there.
All right. So this is basically how we're going to get the effects of dynamic lighting. A lot of numbers happen very quick to perceive these lines and create the lighting effects as you go around them. It's too much math for me. I just know that once you turn those little lines on, the characters cannot perceive what lies on the other side of it. So we've got sight lines set up for our players. They're only going to be able to see through the characters of tokens that you've assigned to them. I actually have both tokens assigned to you right now, Elf. I have both a character with vision and a character, they both have vision. One of them has night vision. So we can talk a bit about those. So having characters with regular vision versus night vision, one of them is going to require a light source. Obviously, the other one is not going to require a night source, and they can just see in the dark. Very frequently used in 5e. That's a huge part of the game. So we wanted to make sure that we had space for that. So those are the sort of the two things.
So Kitty May, what are you using to light this underwater passageway? Like traditionally, I imagine fire doesn't work down here.
Yeah, so fire doesn't work down here. And normally on maps, you're going to see like torches and stuff that you give lighting so the players can see. Obviously, it's kind of important for the players sometimes. But as this is a magical underwater cavern, I've actually gone ahead and provided light to all of the various seashells you can see on the map. So those are on the token layer. And if you go ahead and you click on the token settings and switch to dynamic lighting, you can see that I have given them some low light and bright light, 30 feet of each. So the right side of the map has little lights and the left side of the map is the dark, spooky side of this temple where there's no lights at all. So that's what we have lighting. So you can actually use any kind of lights. As we get towards the north of the map, you're going to see where one of my favorite things to use as a lighting source is little fairy lights. So it feels really majestic in the in its space. So basically, the first step when you're building a dynamic lighting map is to, one, pick your map, choose what you want to do, and then set out and do those lines that we talked about. Right, so you're gonna draw those out on the map, and that'll tell Roll20 to know where your walls are and all that stuff.
And an important thing to note is, the color that you choose the lines for it's really up to you as the GM. It's not what we use to determine what the actual lines are being impacted on. But it's even the thickness is not necessarily a factor in terms of like determining where they hit. But it's good to in this example we use like a bright green just because it contrasts well against the blue background. Right. And typically another cool thing to do is have it color coded to whatever you want to do. So if you have a door and you want to be able to see a door from far away as a GM, changing that to a color that you can keep as like your own little, signal of like, hey, this is definitely something I can manipulate and open and close as a door.
The old orange line for the doors.
Classic.
In rhyme, that's what it is. So
yeah. And that is one of the things we'll talk about later, is that all of our Roll20 modules and stuff, for modules like Frost Maiden and Curse of Strahd and Lost Mines of Phandelver, they all come with dynamic lighting built for you.
Lost
so you don't actually
newly with the new dynamic lighting.
Yeah, 2.0 just came out. It's one of our oldest modules, so we recently revamped it, just put it out. It's super cool, very exciting. So this part is already done for you, but if you're like me who likes to minutely control every aspect of their games, you're going to be building your map from scratch. So that's where we've come. And so I think with those basic foundations, I think, Elf, if you want to pick out one of the tokens and one of our players and switch to Control L, which is the shortcut that gives GMs the preview function.
I may have already flicked this on and off a couple of times while we were standing
I'm a cop. You're under? No, this is good, but I want to talk about gamification and this setting. So, basically, dynamic lighting is a feature that you can't really do at tables super well, because even if you're moving around your own token, you're still, your hands are moving. The GMs has to place out the map, the part of the map that you're moving onto, right? Maybe moving pieces of cardboard out of the way.
I feel like just about the only thing that equivocates, and not even in a good way, is drawing the map ahead of the players.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's no good.
That
sounds hard.
That takes a lot of time and effort. Yeah, this is much easier.
It truly does. But the thing that I like about dynamic lighting is it is one of my parts of when I'm choosing dynamic lighting versus just throwing a map out. This is a place for me to focus on player empowerment. Right? For this amount of time, the player is going to get to decide where they want to go and why. So as we can see, once you're shifted to Control L view, normally when I set up dynamic lighting on a map for my players, when they get to the map, they just get to move. But you can see that if you move it around a little bit, you can see that I, as a DM, I like to put little exclamation points on my map. And my players know that if they encounter one of those exclamation points, that they have to stop until I can resolve.
I found one.
Okay. You are at an exclamation point. So those are one of my exclamation points. As a GM, you can actually click on it and press settings. And under GM notes is actually where I keep the contents of what that exclamation point is about.
Oh, very nice.
So this one is the crystal stalactites falling from the ceiling on you and the DC 15 dexterity saving throw.
66 bludgeoning damage. Oof.
You like to have fun here. I like to
Rocks
have fun.
Fall, everyone dies.
So that's how I can have everyone going and exploring on their own, while also having classic D&D features.
So one of the things that I've noticed just looking at our various player visions here, because they have different levels of vision, is our fellow with the night vision here in the top can see over here whatever is going on with this shark here. Whereas our lady here who doesn't have night vision seems incapable of piercing said purple barrier.
This is true.
Yeah.
So that's the night vision. I like to tint night vision to a nice little purple. It's truly up to anyone what they want their night vision to look like, but aesthetic is always the forefront of my mind.
The dark, spooky side of the map, as you said.
Yes, I've got some fun little things over on that side of the map. Mostly it's a giant crab, but I think of that as fun.
I do see that. Yep.
So that giant crab is on the GM layer, which is a layer, if you do not know, a layer that is a GM view only until they bring it out onto the tokens map.
It's perfect for ambushing people.
It's perfect for ambushing people with crabs. So we've got that
specifically
set up.
Crabs, yeah.
Yeah, so you can use it for whatever you want, but my assigned usage is crab specific.
Listen, you're entitled to your faves,
Thank you. But as you can see, I have that exclamation point right next to it that is visible to the players, and that's going to be the only thing that the players can see until I pop my crab dad out on the map.
The exclamation points presumably being there so that they know when to stop moving. because otherwise they're just like, I'm looking around the whole map kind of thing if you're giving them free reign. Other than that.
That's literally, I have a really bad habit when I'm a player in games and I'm given a dynamic lighting lab. I'm like, ooh.
What's behind every corner and all the doors?
That's like the first thing I do. And so I wanted to like take that natural inclination that I have and not punish my players for it.
No, temper it, temper
it. Give some result to that natural inclination. It doesn't always have to be a bad effect, like a giant crab. That's just my style.
Your GM notes on this exclamation mark are truly, truly inspiring. In full bold capital letters, no one panic, but a giant crab has fallen from the ceiling. With ceiling spelled incorrectly.
Please don't at me on main like this. Oh no. Okay, well, it's a good thing they have me here to GM. And
no, it's great. It's great. Yeah.
Well, if your players are inclined to sneak around, like there was a page setting that allows you to just update the view on token drop, so that way they can't just like sneak around the corner.
So they can't click and drag. Rather, they gotta like move.
Yes, that's true. That is a very important feature. You have to commit. Like it's good.
Completely a campaign related note for me. But is there a means by which one can have the revealed dynamic lighting remain in an exploring type, keeping a map visible while you move forward into non-visible places? Is that
so? It sounds like you're adventuring through, and you want like a trail of like where you've been.
Yeah, like Fog of War, but like so you can still see where you've been.
Yeah, so we call that Explorer mode, and we definitely have that available. And this actually be a good map to try it out on. Do you want to set that up, Katie Mae?
Well, Corey, how do I do it?
If you go into the page settings toolbar, and on our lovely map here, you hit the page settings.
I just have to stop for a minute and say how much I love the new updated page layout. It's so much nicer.
And if you go down inside the dynamic lighting tab to Explorer mode and you select on, it'll start generating the versions of the maps for everyone, and then suddenly you'll see the history trail as the tokens move through.
You also see that this is where we can do what Corey was talking about, which is update when token drop. So we've already talked about really good instances as to where you would need one and not the other. Update when token drop is for if you want players to have to consider their moves seriously versus an open and free exploration.
Yeah.
That's what update when token drop is going to help you
Token
out.
drop makes me think of moving tokens with like the arrow keys rather than your sort of like click and dragging tokens. You know what I mean? Like
right.
one
yeah.
5-foot step at a time during your intense dungeon crawl with traps everywhere. Kind of
less Skyrim, more chess.
Yeah. For your tactical board game tabletop games.
Yeah,
update when token drop. Yeah.
And then we've got daylight mode, which is just going to light up the whole page, so you don't have to worry as much about character vision. Just a nice sunny day. And then we have that talked about explorer mode, where players are going to be able to like know where they've been and trace their steps.
So admittedly, in the old version, I had two versions of my character tokens, one for when they were inside and one for when they were outside, and the outside one just had like infinite sight range on them, and daylight mode solves that problem. So
daylight does solve that, but that's such a pro tip. It's good. So those are the main features that are available in page settings for UDL. How organically we have talked about that.
Indeed.
Then oh no,
I was gonna say, so we're gonna flick that explorer mode on and see if
let's
what
do
it. Are you doing it? Am I doing it?
I'm gonna let you.
All right, cool.
I feel like the audience is watching.
Done.
They gotta see
Done.
it. We committed. We went.
I've done it.
All right.
So if I switch to player view now and I move my fellow night vision-y guy, they don't have names, so I'm just gonna call him Steve. If I move Steve's
good.
Up here, you can see now that behind me, where I have been, you can't see what's there because he can't see it, obviously, but you can see the way the passage it like forms still, and the way that you could go. Though we still can't see what's ahead of us, basically. So like we're revealing what what we know and leaving it behind and moving forward into the unknown and thus revealing it, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, if that crab was defeated in the time that you last walked around, you would have no idea because you literally don't have sight of that at the moment.
And
right?
the other thing is, like, just because you can see that there are passages behind you doesn't mean the GM isn't dropping tokens in there for when you go back around on your retreat and you run into several giant crabs.
They always forget that we have the GM layer, and it's my favorite tool. Speaking of sighting and reveals, let's talk about one of my other favorite DM tools when it comes to dynamic lighting, which is the dramatic reveal, because that's the only thing I live for as a DM. I gotta set up and execute those. So as you were exploring the top part of this cavern map, there's a little set of stairs up there in the top middle. Right, so as you bring our friend Steve up there.
Steve up here, yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Look at Steve go.
All right, he's up near
Steve
the stairs.
So
he's trepidatiously approaching the stairs.
Perfect. So I'm so committed as a dungeon master to the art of the reveal. So Corey set up the dynamic lighting so beautifully as your characters, this huge narration point for you as a DM to narrate them entering the chamber. So why don't you go ahead and bring that token up and into the major chamber?
All right.
We'll have this encounter.
He crests the stairs here.
Ooh, crests, beautiful.
And Clambert over there, animated clam on the side. I like that.
Yes, thank you. Like Clambert is our life's work.
And I see we have an exclamation point thereby.
We do.
Leading me to stop here.
So I like to have my exclamation points here during my big reveals, just so my players know to like give me that moment, so they don't race ahead. I can put a little smiley face on this one. I put a little smiley face on that DM.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. So let's talk about so you just saw that we had dynamic lighting being able to be used a little bit earlier for doorways and stuff, but you can also just have them sort of used as spotlights as you are introducing a new thing into the scene. So we'll show you what it looks like afterwards, but as a DM right now, I can actually just move to dynamic lighting things to the side. And then what you're going to see revealed as Steve.
Yes. Yes, the Hydra.
Is the Hydra. This big moment as the Hydra comes into view. To set that up for your players, it's just like two simple dynamic lighting lines that I just had to move out of the way.
Yeah. And there's other ways to get that same kind of tension too. Like we have a hide and reveal tool that has so much power. You can use like the polygon version or just a square version, and you could just like select over that layer a block of like permanent darkness that like none of the tokens can see through. And when you're ready, you could just select over it again and just reveal what's underneath. And of course you could always put it on the GM layer and hide it, but like there's all these little subtle ways that you can just add that extra tension and drama to a scene.
Hide and reveal actually sounds like a really good tool, and just like riffing on D&D, really good tool for like the darkness spell, for example. If you want to use it as like a nobody can see into there, stuff is still happening, but I don't have to create a GM layer thing to do it. It just you can't see.
Yep.
Very, very cool.
Yep. So this is a Chameleon Hydra from Tome of Beasts 2 by Kobold Press.
It is impressive looking.
It's so aesthetic. It matches the map.
It's got
this is like my
colors.
Ideal.
It's great.
It's got the same colors. This is like my ideal DM setup. So I will say that this Hydra does have dynamic lighting enabled. So you can sort of see what the creature can see, and you can go look through that. However, here's my pro tip. I got my nice gaming PC. I've committed to it, but I also have a Mac laptop that is not as good. If you are a DM on a budget who are running dynamic lighting, which can at times be taxing on your computer, just because you truly can make this feature whatever you want.
The Mad Mage maps are big, and they have lots of dynamic lighting, and they are a fun one to try and get through without
Right, because like updated dynamic is like kind of like alcohol. Like no one's gonna tell you to stop drinking.
No, keep doing it. Yeah.
No one's gonna tell your computer is not gonna be like, hey, I'm dying. just because you can truly make huge maps and do it. But one of my pro tips for like maybe running on a lighter system is to make sure that you have sight for your monsters turned off.
Yeah.
Because it truly, from my perspective, it's like one of the last things I'm checking when I'm DMing a scene. I just know when that creature is going to be able to see my players. So if you're running on a bit of a lighter system, one of my pro tips is if you're doing dynamic lighting is to turn off monster sight vision.
Is there a fast and efficient way to do so, or is it like a 1-by-1 situation? You know what I mean? Is there like a toggle that's like all things that are not players lose their sight?
Yeah, so you can actually what you can do in that case scenario is if you head over to the settings. I don't have this. Where did the experimental feature go?
I'm sorry, I'm asking unscripted questions. So.
No. We are currently working on a feature. It's in experimental at times. It might not be here right now.
So I can explain where it is.
Please, Corey.
Yeah, if you're the person that started the game, so Katie May, you set the game up. But at the very bottom, you should see the option for effectively applying the default settings for this particular game. With that, on the outside of the game itself, you can select a host of different settings that you want to apply to different tokens. And when you get that pop up in the game, you'll see if you want to apply it to all the tokens in the map layer. You can select the map and token layer. You can apply it to GM layer, and then just do like a mass batching of like a setting. So like typically the way that I use it, I because it's so much easier to apply a large amount of changes to all the other tokens that are not players, and then just go back and change the players.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's my pro tip.
I would much rather mess with the 4-player tokens than the 800 not player tokens.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the pro tip workaround for getting it to do that instead of having to sit one by one, trying to find all the creatures
each
littered
goblin,
in your maps.
Putting a blindfold over each goblin's eyes, just
good night, sweet prince, as I pull the pillow out. So that's my segment on dramatic reveals.
I like that.
Those are all my
I like the idea of using dynamic lighting, and I hadn't actually considered this because truth be told, I don't do a lot of my own dynamic lighting you're making. It's already set for me in Rhyme and in the modules that I've been running. So the idea of like, there's nothing really in the way, but I'm going to put dynamic lighting stuff in the way so they can't see what they're approaching until I want them to. It's like, oh yeah, I guess I could do that. I don't need to put a door there. Yeah.
It's also, it's really handy for me to just have like narration points, right?
Yeah.
So I can make sure everything's resolved before my players are like, but what's that over there?
And so that one of the players isn't like, a Hydra, before you get to even mention your cool Hydra.
Yeah, well, one player's in a different room, like unlocking a chest, like, what? What about what?
What Hydra? What?
What Hydra? I'm just opening this chest. Yeah. I'm dealing with a giant crab.
We have a warlock who likes to open all the doors.
Oh, good. Oh no. Yeah. Oh gosh. But with my art of reveals done, Corey, I'm gonna ask for a secret lesson, because there's one part of dynamic lighting that I don't know super well that I was hoping you'd be able to teach both of us. This is my secret ulterior motive to getting you on this stream.
Katie's on the stream for the secret knowledge.
Don't tell anyone. No one's listening. So I don't know how to do directional lighting very well with sight. And so I was wondering, I can turn off all the little fairy lights here, but I was wondering if you would use Clambert to teach me how directional lighting works.
Sure. So if you select Clambert real quick, and you open up the token settings that are on it, you go into the dynamic lighting tab. So do you want vision, directional vision, or do you want directional light? And should I explain the difference between both of them?
Please, let's start with that.
All right. So if you use directional light, you basically get the equivalent of like a flashlight, where it's very much like I am pointing in the way that I am facing. And every time you rotate your token around, it'll move the light in that respective direction. With restricted like vision, you're basically putting blinders on. So even if there's a light source that's happening on the outside of where you're seeing, you're only going to be able to see within that field of view that you're being selected to. And the same thing applies when you're moving around the token. So I don't know if Clambert's really looking on the outside, but I feel like Clambert would probably still have that light source.
Clambert is not perceiving, correct, but Clambert can be perceived. What kind of light do we think Clambert's gonna?
I think maybe Clambert getting a bright light.
Okay.
And we could talk about low light and what we have.
What's the difference? There's bright light and low light? What do you mean?
So bright light being you can completely see as if the map didn't have the fog of war over it, and it just gets bounded in by the barriers themselves. And low light, basically, it's the effect of like a darkly lit, super dim looking light. And this kind of goes back to our users on the forum. They've mentioned over the past couple months that, hey, dim light is not quite what we want it to be. And we took a hard look at that, and I gotta say that we have something coming to you.
Are we spilling secrets? Are we talking about secrets?
We got something coming relatively soon.
Early next week, perhaps?
Perhaps. Don't want to say a specific date, but I know that we've worked really hard on making sure that we could not just get that in, but take it up another notch. So instead of just fixing the problem, we allow for some even more customizability with it.
So what I'm seeing from Clambert currently is that they have 120 feet of low light.
Yeah, that's what I thought that they deserved yesterday.
Right. Yeah. So is that directional? And
no, we have to change it. Yeah. We have to now scroll down and do directional light. And you can see that there are degrees now here, which in my scared baby brain, I'm like, oops, I can't do math. Goodbye.
I do not see the directional option on.
Ooh,
maybe I am looking in the wrong place, perhaps.
Oh, perhaps. Go ahead and click out and click up. But let's see. I wonder if there's because this is a setting bar. I can't share this page with you like you would on other things.
I mean, I'm opening Clambert's token settings.
Interesting.
But I see only total light at the bottom, and then advanced settings gets into light multiplier, and then.
Well, let me turn on directional light, and then I wonder
you do that,
it'll be there for you when I do it.
Yeah, we'll see if it changes if you do it. Yeah.
All right, we'll see. I wonder if it is because I'm the creator of the game.
It may be.
We'll have to see. Okay, so I have two boxes to input information. I have total, which is the total size of the field of light, and center, which is, then it says 50% of light is before the center, 50% is after. So that's going to be on the axis that it is. Is that what it is, Corey?
Yeah. So if you think of it on a 360 degree range, it provides the angle at which you're tilting it at.
Okay. So I'm going to say it's 30 degrees and total, and then 90 degrees from the center. And then what happens? Did it work?
I mean, something changed.
Clambert is shedding light. I believe. This is such a large amount of light, Clambert. Are you? No, wait, Clambert isn't shedding light. Clambert, please. Clambert, I'm begging you. Oh, wait. I think I also have to do this. I'm still really bad at this feature. Let's see. Oh,
there it is.
Here's what I did. I forgot that you also have to tell it to shed light. I was 30 degrees and 45 degrees. And then Tony was like, of what? I was like, what do you mean of what?
You've said the numbers, but you haven't said go. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Clambert with directional lighting, which I'm thrilled about. Watch me go.
I see it.
As you can see, Clambert is an animated token, and I know that is a question that is asked sometimes. Is our animated token still compatible with dynamic lighting settings? And the answer is yes. So you can see that Clambert opens and shuts a little. They got a little pearl inside them. They're real happy to share it. And also this 30 degrees of light at 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Those two things are very excited about.
Light directly onto Steve right now here.
Yeah, just because Clambert does a star when he sees
spotlight,
Spot Steve and is like game changer.
Yeah.
So can you see the dim light settings now that I've activated them?
I can, yes.
Good.
There are our boy Steve obviously is capable of seeing in the darkness. So what I might do is go and grab other person who I haven't named.
She's not unnamed. Though these are tokens from our reserve pack. So this is, I think, this month's reserve is the Frosty. I have to remember the full name. The Frosty Fey Realm token pack by Brass Badger Workshop. So that's where these two friends are from.
So she can indeed benefit much more from Clambert's directional light.
Yeah, I'm sending Steve to the ether.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
Because she doesn't have night vision, so you can see like it's much more specifically lit.
You can also see in this that I do have my exclamation points lit, just so my players can go, but I didn't see them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I saw you had a 10-foot light on them, and it was like, good call. Yeah.
I got my eyes on my players. So that's just to me. But yeah, those Fey token packs, because it's a reserve item, is available for free for all pro subscribers this month. So free things, go get them.
I will indeed.
I'm very intimidated by them. So if you need intimidating NPCs, which is honestly the only thing I'm in the market for, it's a very good pack.
I mean, what NPCs aren't intimidating in the end, you know?
That's the thing, is I have a hard time making my NPCs intimidating.
Friendly and approachable NPCs. What are those?
Because my players just want to smooch them anyways. Like, the scarier I make them, the more my players are like,
I also have this problem, yeah.
Yeah, we need to start a support group. Honestly.
It's the Lady Dimitrescu issue, you know? They're supposed to be scary.
Truly.
But, like,
that's exactly what it is.
Why are you not scared?
Why are you simping instead of fearing? I shout often as a dungeon master. So yes, these are all the things I have set up to explore on this map. We do have 2 other maps, and we can go to which other ones we want later, and also we can check out some of the reserve maps that are available. But I wanted to ask you, Elf, if you had any questions that highly qualified experts could answer for you.
You know, I've been sort of following along and trying to ask the questions that come up into my mind while we are. I don't have anything specifically, in practice. I mostly just want to know, like, what's the like major difference between this version of dynamic lighting and the last? Like, if there were to be like the major difference, like what would it be?
So I would say that from the ground up, we re-envisioned and rebuilt the architecture for this thing in a way that allows for us to be more scalable and also just create a lot of other awesome features going forward in the future.
So, I was gonna say, so like it's more sort of scalable and so like more like efficient from the ground up sort of thing.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of things that we want to do, and there's a lot of things we have planned, and a lot of things that we have already done in this process that this re-architecture really helped with. For example, night vision. The way the night vision works. Prior to this, you had to create like a sense of like a setting of light that only that particular token can see.
Yeah.
And like it was kind of like it was a workaround that like we envisioned a better way to do it. And in doing that, we're able to add like color to that. We're able to add like specific FX shaders to that, like us adding the dimmable version as well as like the sharpened version. Like those are things that like going forward we can just start adding more bits of pieces and like adding more customizability to users as we go, and in general, like it's so much easier to work with in terms of like the things that we're going to be able to do with the new system is just like leagues ahead of what was possible in Legacy.
That's sort of what I figured. Like I figured it was sort of like a re-architecture, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing any like, well, we did it for this feature specifically, which we couldn't do before. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't read my Roll20 newsletter as often as I should, so I was, just trying to keep up. But that's great. And the idea of like something being able to be built upon as like a system rather than just like making a thing as it is and then leaving it, you know what I mean, is always sort of better, right? in the long run.
Yeah, we will always be adding more, the continual support of UDL.
I mean, you were already talking about next week. There's going to be something. I'm going to be looking forward to whatever that is.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep my eye out.
Yeah, it's and like I just can't wait to see the little things that are going to delight the users. Like, and I know that like it's been a long way to this point, as our users can definitely say. But like, thanks for sticking with us this far in terms of like the process of us like continually making UDL better and better and better. And we definitely have plans to make it even more like even greater going forward. So,
all right. I have one for Katie. Katie, you said you didn't know how the directional light worked. What other secret, absolutely like in the corner of the dynamic lighting sphere, pro tips do you have for somebody who doesn't really do much of their own dynamic lighting?
As someone who has recently taught themselves how dynamic lighting works, thanks, well, also just repeatedly staring at the work that Corey has done. Those are all my pro tips. I think the only other thing that I'm like, Corey, I need your pro tip is how to make hidden doors, because I'm still bad at making hidden doors,
like secret doors.
But so that's my thing.
Because you don't want the dynamic lighting to look like it's anything but the wall, right? So
right.
It's about lining it up perfectly, right?
If we go to the other map, there was a point where I thought about this as I was getting the lines ready, and I was like, "There's a couple secret doors on the second map that like I was like, oh, I should take some time to
Corey, do you think they're ready for the labyrinth?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think it's?
I hope so.
All right. I think if we're ready for the labyrinth.
How deep into the stream we are already, I hope they're ready for the next thing because they won't get it otherwise.
Then we'll head over to the labyrinth, the most terrifying updated dynamic lighting map that I believe has ever been made. This is truly like Corey's magnum opus, and I'm not like I just put like a little bone demon in the middle. Corey made such a cool labyrinth. Can you imagine just letting your players loose in this?
Oh. I mean, just look at this. Look, we'll turn the dynamic lighting on, and I'll just move Steve through here. Look at this. Look at this. This is awesome. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm gonna go this way and then up here. Okay.
And see, a mean DM isn't gonna turn on Explorer mode for this map.
No, yeah.
A nice DM is.
Yeah.
And that's how you know what kind of DM you've got.
Yeah. I like here in my GM version as well that like I can see where Steve can see.
Yeah, I can just track you right now.
With the red, like pink overlay there on the token, I can see like where he's.
Yeah, because there's no lighting set up in these tunnels, so we're relying on this character's night vision alone.
Yeah, because if we brought what's her name in here, who we haven't named.
We never named her.
This is what she can see. Nothing. Just,
good.
Just nothing at all. Yeah, pure, unadulterated darkness.
You're doing great, sweetie.
It's just super helpful.
She's trying her hardest.
Listen, she doesn't have night vision. She's not as cool as Steve. We get it.
So a cool trick that a fellow Roll20er suggested that I really liked for situations like that where maybe you don't want the player to be able to see like everything in the dark, but like that idea of like wandering around in the dark, you kind of like you put your hands.
You give them that like 5 foot low light and
or like a little bit of night vision, just like a tad bit, like just enough that it's like at the edges, and you can kind of just see like, okay, I think there's something in front of me.
I mean, I would go for the low light because you get that like hazy like section, right? Which feels
that's a really good point, because I think, if you're not providing any vision to a character token, then truly the player's gonna get more of I'm just black screened right now.
So we're gonna go for some low light emanation.
That's such a smart
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this right now. We're gonna do some 5 foot low light emanation on our dear horribly vision impaired not as cool as Steve lady. And you can see like this is the wandering around in the dark vibe.
Yeah, now that's the anxiety I go for in my DMs.
That's the are there 5 kobolds scuttering around behind me that I should probably be worried about. Where's the next trap in this corridor sort of lighting vibes. I mean, that's great. That's great right there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, just watching that is like But do you have these? Are these rooms set up as secret rooms, Corey? Have you already done it?
Yeah. So if you take a look at the far right and or the far left, that is, I don't even know if I did it to this, the quality and specification that you're looking for, K-Man, but as best you can, try to line it up with line up that door with the lines that you already made.
I'm gonna bring Steve over here.
Oh, I was already doing that. So
oh no!
All right, he's there. Two
Steves. Okay, I see.
So I feel like this is probably the best one that I made.
Yeah, or like this one over here is also theoretically.
Yeah, because that's so interesting. Because if Steve sees this room and steps inside and I move aside that first green door, then if I go back to Steve's view, Steve still doesn't see that there's a secret passageway behind this table.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Corey, you're so good at it.
Yeah, I think it's mostly about trying to get that straight line to line up, right, with the previous dynamic lighting layers, so that there isn't that slight jagged dynamic lighting situation where they're like, there's something there, I know. Yeah.
Like, depending on the amount of time you want to spend, like, setting up the lines, like, you can make it, like, perfect, that fit exactly the way around the walls, or you could just, like, I admittedly, there were, the team that handles, like, the setting up the lines for, like, a lot of the other maps, they would look at this and be like, oh, I could do a better job. And I know that. But I did my best for the time that I had.
This looks like what I used to do with the old dynamic lighting, just to, stick a line through the edge of everything that I need to get out of vision, and we're good to go.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But that's the nice thing about dynamic lighting is, like, some people think it's daunting to set this up, and it's like, no, it's just you're drawing a line. Not. It's like Microsoft Paint. Go wild. Roll20 will do the rest.
Especially if you're using straight lines, you can use the line tool. So it's just like you're drawing straight lines, connecting straight lines, right? It's when you get into, like, I need to draw the round curvature of the back of this strange cave or something that you get into the fun parts. The freehand with your mouse, which I'm really good at, definitely.
I believe you. I believe you very much.
I see also that our horrible demon in the middle here has emanates. Is that them emanating light or the braziers in the corners?
I believe that is them emanating light.
Yeah, let me check.
Or perhaps this is just them perceiving.
No, that is them perceiving the
Yeah,
braziers.
I think that might be them perceiving. This is also from the same book that I was mentioning earlier. This is a bone spitter. I thought that this was a fun little monster I'd never seen before I was working. So bone spitters have unique digestive systems. When a bone spitter consumes another creature, the acid in the worm's stomach dissolves all of the prey's tissue and leaves only bones behind. The bones become part of the bone spitter's defenses, poking through its skin like sharp hair follicles. Isn't that awful?
I feel like that would hurt somewhat.
Yeah, it sounds unpleasant. But can you imagine that worm chasing you around that dungeon?
That would be great.
That's what I'm here for.
Well, and I mean, if we're talking like D&D specifically, that worm is gonna have a hard time chasing you around that labyrinth because the squeezing is gonna be real for such a big creature, and the disadvantage. I mean, really, I think it's like trapped here in the center of the map. It's clearly like trapped because the corridors are like 2 size categories smaller than it. Like, how did it get there?
Free the worm. and then I've got a nice Minotaur Labyrinth keeper and a moon priestess up there. Who knows what they're doing? They're cool.
They are cool.
They're married, and I love them. This is my headcanon. Welcome to this map.
That bone spitter must be loaded with calcium, says Bud Prince. Yeah.
Ooh, no, thank you.
Really, just get more than your daily intake of calcium.
Yeah, I think some people just like don't know that there are a ton of third-party publishers who just like have stuff in Roll20. So if you're I'm
trying to do that myself right now.
Right? Because like I especially in my home games, I'm like, oh well, they've seen an adult blue dragon 9 times already.
But a bone spitter.
But a bone spitter. That's free game, baby.
Gabe,
So
Gabe gave me the great idea of just making humanoid NPCs that have all the stats of the popular monsters. They're just people, but they have like blue dragon stats or something. Just a surprise, just as a anime style surprise. You know.
We gotta get more anime style surprises.
Yeah, well,
in our
it's
D&D
like
games.
yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna drop that on them at some point, regardless of the module. But
Please report
because
back.
they said it as a throwaway, but I'm gonna do something about that. I saw that we had other maps.
We did.
Do we want to look? Do we want to look at them before
we could go there. I had an unmade space station map in case you got here and were like, I want to do it with my two hands. And I was gonna support you in your journeys.
I don't think I particularly need to draw any lines on paper. I'm pretty confident that I can handle that.
That's fair. But I still found it really.
I will look at your space station because
because I heard you were maybe doing some Star Wars stuff.
Maybe
so
I'm deep in the Star Wars. It's not maybe.
I'm just trying to give you a chance to plug your show.
It's gonna be in this time slot in 2 weeks, basically.
Oh well, just stay here for 2 weeks.
Yeah, just
and then you'll be here at the right time.
Just leave the tab open, you'll be good.
This is a giant abandoned space station.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
It's huge.
I love the
massive.
layout. I love the layout.
It's the dream.
Whose maps have you used for this?
This is called Space Metropolis by Nikki G.
Oh, very nice.
They are one of our marketplace creators. This is like 4 different panels. So they put all of their maps out in panels. And so this is 4 different panels I have aligned. But there's like a cool little alien club up in the top corner. We've got like a mech bay. There's so much in here.
I love it.
But if I was a DM having my players, because here's the thing is like, even though if I was DMing this map, and even if this was like a bustling mecca that was just like an exploration section for my players, I would probably turn on dynamic lighting for it just so we can go one scene at a time.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Exploring, right? Versus my players just immediately like perceiving the whole map in one go and just skipping to, well, I just want to go up to that club in the top corner. I'm really being like, okay, you go to the club in the top corner.
You know what they want to do.
Oh my gosh. You're sure you don't want to go to my mech bay? No, I want to go to the club in the top. Fine.
You took plenty of time to make the mech bay, but the club is what they really desire.
The club is what they really want. So I just had this one, and then actually the other maps we have
the reserve maps, right?
Our reserve maps that we were talking about earlier are Roll20 reserve feature that we've been doing in the last year.
This looks like the map that Dave used for that one shot of Pathfinder. I think I have seen this particular map before.
Well, perchance have you had a problem with this map flooding?
I have, in token flipping style throughout the map.
Yes.
Had it flood on me. Yeah.
So this map can flood by using the multiple token feature in Roll20 that is still notably compatible with dynamic lighting. So you can actually choose a side on here and flood them. And since this was a reserve item, you can actually switch to, those licensor that Corey were talking about drawing incredible updated dynamic lighting lines. You can see some of those in action on our dynamic lighting layer here. They're so beautifully drawn. It gives me hives because I can never do anything that well.
Yeah.
That's just not me. So they're so beautiful.
But Princeton chat, does the mech bay have dynamic lighting? Get it? Get it?
Warning.
I had to.
That was pretty good.
No, I had to shout that one out. That was a good one.
And then I think we've got another very cool city that's part of the reserve.
Oh yeah.
With that one, that you can switch between day and night.
Oh, cool.
Which is good. But then we also have some airships with dynamic lighting set up, and those are gorgeous. I just think that more people need to put airships in their campaigns. Maybe that's like my 2021 fight I'm picking.
Airships are awesome, but very setting reliant. You know what I mean? There are only so many settings where airships will do. Like if you're playing in Eberron, you're gonna see airships all the time.
Yeah. But just put them in all the settings.
I mean, do what you feel. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna stop you.
I just think that more DMs should have airships crashing into their players actively.
If the ancient Netherese are allowed to make floating cities, then airships are fine.
You get it. You get me. And so those were just some of the reserve maps just having here to check out as well. And I think there's other things we had to check out with dynamic lighting.
I think that brings us to our basic closing position.
Yeah, I believe so. Chat, if you have any
timing, anyway.
I think we timed it super well. While we do our outros, chat, if you have any super pertinent, updated dynamic lighting questions, we're here. We're happy to answer them for you. But this is. I just wanted to show off our aesthetic maps. Corey and I worked real hard on them.
All right, well let's get the outros rolling. Katie, why don't you tell us about your stuff and where we can find you doing things and so forth?
Absolutely. I'm Katie May. You can find me at Twitch or Twitter at OKKatieMay. When I'm not working at Roll20 as one of the XPT members, I am a producer and streamer. I do Dungeons, Dice, and Everything Nice, which is a 5e podcast made by your best friends, full of queer pining, if that's your kind of thing. And I'm part of the stream team Indoor Recess crew, which is another Roll20 partner. And we got some really cool stuff heading up soon. So if you want to go follow us at twitter.com/Indoor Recess with 3 S's, maybe you'll hear about some stuff soon. That's me.
Corey, you want to go next? Give us the shout out.
I wish I had as many interesting things to do, but I am here. You can find me on the forums, Corey J. Actively looking at the feedback. We're taking it in and we're making sure we're making things awesome. And we do care about you all. So just letting you all know that.
Aww.
I thought you said fight me on the forums, and I was yeah, Corey.
Yeah.
Let's brawl.
Fight Corey on the forums. Don't
fight Corey on the forums.
Nice
I will fight you in the forums if you're trying to fight Corey in the forums.
I will go to the forums for the first time ever and fight you back.
Oh, good.
I mean, I look at the forums ever. Definitely. Anyway, hi. Me. I am Distracted Elf. You can find me at twitch.tv/DistractedElf or on Twitter at DistractedElf. And I do a bunch of stuff with Chaos Initiative, who are, Roll20 group. We do the Monday Rime of the Frost Maiden game on the D&D channel, and I'm working on some GM prep for Star Wars Desperate Gamble on Thursdays, which will premiere for our Session 0 and character creation on February the 19th. Here on the Roll20 channel. So you just follow this one and you'll be following that. So you're good, Other than that, that's pretty much it. Now, I'll do that part that I do at the end of other shows that I am hosting, which is say, if you like any of the stuff that we have shown you today, all this dynamic lighting business, and you're thinking, man, I really hate erasing graph paper and trying to draw stuff in front of my players frantically while they demand more and more in their ever-hungry, unceasing hands, then dynamic lighting is for you, and you should sign up at roll20.net, where you can get a free account to play various tabletop games, including many D&D things and Pathfinder things and all sorts of other stuff. That if I started listing them, there would be too long. So, do that. Roll20.net. Dynamic lighting. It's your friend. It saves you many graph papers. That's it. That's all.
That's our promise from us to you.
That's all I've got. Was there any questions before we hop on out?
I don't think so. There was a great suggestion, and I'm saying that we have a suggestions forum in our forums where I love hearing suggestions. We all love taking a look at those. So please go over there because I love reading everybody's thoughts and ideas. And if you want to keep up to date with what's happening with dynamic lighting, in the Roll20 forums as well is a updated dynamic lighting forum page full of feedback, bug tracking, and updates. If you ever want to go over there to see what's going on over there, I'll see you there. I live inside that thread. That's my house. Come to my house.
Great. All right, cool. Well, we'll jump out and see you next time I get asked to be taught stuff on stream.
This was great. Hopefully
it was super fun. Yeah, I hope to do more. And we'll see you later, chat. Bye everyone. Bye.